Hi, beautiful people. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it's a new year already? It feels like yesterday that I started this podcast, and now here we are. Can you even believe that? Thank you so much for sticking around. And I know what you're probably going to say. How dare you come back in our ears after ghosting us for months? Trust me, I understand. And I'm sorry. Do not count it against me. Last year was one hell of a year, but we are back with a bang. Isn't it amazing that we get to see another new year? This is like a fresh start. This is like another opportunity to do things differently. This is another opportunity to be better than who we used to be in the previous years. Another opportunity to go hard at the things that we want. It's amazing, and I'm truly feeling privileged, at this opportunity to see another year. In case you're new here, my name is Cynthia, and this is I'd like to tell you. So we'll be starting this month strong with the theme starting the year strong. Yes, I have 4 episodes outlined already for you this month to help you make the best of 2026. I'm telling you, it is well structured in such a way that each episode leads to the other and is totally designed with you in mind. So let's get started. Now, I'm sure you must have heard of the phrase, New Year, New Me. I wish it was that automatic, that a new year brings about a new you. But it's not. You actually have to put in effort. You actually have to strive to make sure that it's a new you that is going to emerge in the new year. Now, I know, like most people, you've probably already drawn up your vision boards, written down your goals for the year, your plans, your hobbies, your bucket lists, and that's amazing. Now, for those of you who haven't, that's totally fine, honestly. You have the whole of January to plan for the year, yes. And not just the whole of January, actually, you have the whole of the year. You could literally wake up one night in April and decide, you know what, I'm ready to start over. I'm ready to get things done. I'm ready to rearrange my life. It's completely up to you. No apologies whatsoever. Nothing restraining you. Nothing holding you. It is completely up to you. You can wake up in the middle of September and decide to rewrite your life. But I will encourage you to do it this January, because you do not want to be coasting. You do not want to be floating. You want to hit the ground running in the new year. For this year, one of the things that you want to put into focus is, what are the things that you don't want? For our goals, we typically go for what we want to achieve, what we want, but people rarely talk about what they do not want. And there's this saying that I love: if you do not know what you want, you should know what you do not want. So it's like a reverse of it. So instead of thinking, what kind of goals should I have this year? Some people genuinely have issues coming up with new goals for the year, and that's fine. You can decide to flip it and say, what are the things that I do not want to do this year? What are the, habits that I do not want to continue this year? What are the things that I've been doing last year that I simply do not want to continue this year? And this can carry over, to every area of your life. For relationships, for instance, you might say, instead of saying, oh, I need better friends, so I need to make new friends, your goal could then be, my present friends are not it. I'm going to cut them off. And that's a serious goal, and you give it a time frame. Like, by April, I'm going to suspend these people from my life because they're simply not good for me. For some of you, it's the kind of family you come from. They're toxic, they're draining. You could have a goal that involves moving out. That is you saying, I do not want to be around these people anymore. Do you see? So if you do not know what to put down as a goal, if you feel like you do not know what you want, then you should spell out in very clear terms what you do not want. Now, also in setting your goals, you should have hobbies, you should have bucket lists. What is the difference between all this? Goals, hobbies, bucket lists, they all sound alike and sometimes they are used interchangeably, but a hobby, for instance, is an activity that you do just for your enjoyment. You just do it for the fun of it. You do it for your enjoyment and relaxation. There is no expected outcome. A goal, however, you are doing it with an outcome in mind and it has a time frame. Your hobby could be reading, for instance, and you just love to read books. You're not reading it to try to sound smart. You're not reading it because, you want to check something off your list. You're not reading it so that when you sit amongst people, you get to brag that you're reading 50 books. No, for you, it's like an escape. You do it solely for your relaxation and enjoyment. There is no expected outcome. For the next person, their goal will be to get into reading, and they won't just say start reading. They would have to make it measurable and specific. So I am going to read 5 fiction books this year. I'm going to read 10 autobiographies this year. Do you see the difference? For one person, the hobby is just there for enjoyment and relaxation. Let me give you a personal example. I'm currently reading Lamb Tales by Shakespeare, and in as much as I always have a reading goal, I can tell you for free that reading Lamb Tales by Shakespeare was not something I wrote down, but I am someone who genuinely enjoys reading. That is why I can pick up a random book like Tales from Shakespeare and start reading it. But my specific goal, however, may be to read 12 books on business this year. Do you see the difference? And that is why it's so important to also have hobbies in your life, because when I'm reading 12 books on business, one of the things I've learned about reading is you have to enjoy what you read. I'm not a fan of, there are these reading lists flying around, 10 books that Jeff Bezos thinks you should read, 10 books that, will change your life. I'm not a fan of them. I've gone through some of those kind of recommendations and I found out that I hated some of those books. They were not enjoyable to me. And guess what? I dumped them. It's my eyes I'm using to read. It's my mind I'm using to read. You cannot flog me for it. I don't care what the world says that these books are life-changing. If I do not consider them life-changing is specific, is subjective rather. If I do not think it's enjoyable, I'm not going to read it. I'm sure there's someone else that has written about that topic in an enjoyable manner, and I'm going to go for that one, even if it's not popular. These are my thoughts on reading. So I might, in getting through those 12 business books, for instance, I might realize that some of them are boring, and unless I find out that this is actually going to help me, I'm not going to push myself to do it. So what then I would fall back on is random short stories like this, because it's a hobby for me. Reading then does not have to be torturous all the time. I get to read just for the fun of it. I may not even add that as list of books that I read for the year, but because it's for my own enjoyment, it is no longer reading gets to be this fun activity that is not just tied to an outcome. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying, but it's very important for you to have a hobby whilst you're pursuing your goals. Okay, of course, a hobby can be converted to goal, which is like the example I gave you. But the difference is that a hobby is strictly for your enjoyment and relaxation. There is no stress, there is no pressure, there is no outcome, while the goal is specific. It has a time frame. If it does not have a time frame, then it's a wish list or a bucket list. And this brings me to what a bucket list is. Bucket list is like a nice to have, like, oh, I would love to do this in my lifetime. It's like wishful thinking. It doesn't have any specific time frame. There is no serious efforts at every point in time towards it. It doesn't have this defined strategy or timeline. It could happen. You might say, oh, in my 30s, I want to visit 3 countries. Do you see the expanse of time? In my 30s, that's wishful thinking. In as much as it's something that you would like to have, it doesn't exactly have the biggest impact in your life if it does not come to pass. But you should have bucket lists. Why? It gives you something to look forward to. Like I said, goals are not a small matter. They are very serious. They require effort, they require commitment, they require, time frame, they require you to constantly measure how your strategy and how you are reaching them. But for bucket lists, these are things that you can look forward to. So in planning for your year, have hobbies, have goals, and of course have bucket lists. Now also, you should have I did mention you should have goals across every area of your life. You should not be thinking only career. There is more to you than your career. You should not be thinking only money. There is more to you than finances. In fact, this hyper focus on money is the reason why we have lots of shitty people with no character. They just believe that, you know what, I have money, I'm good. And it's a problem right now in the world because they are so poor that all they have is money. You do not want to be that person. So have goals across every area of your life. Determined to improve your relationships. Determined to improve even your speaking. And like I said, if you do not have something to look forward to, at least have something that you do not want anymore. Okay? Then there is this radical idea I want to give you guys. Is a spiritual idea anyway, but you could just determine that this year is the last year you will do certain things. Yes, and in this case you'll be putting your faith to work. I want you to list out maybe 2 or 3 things that, especially if you're a Christian, this one is more for Christians. If you list out 2 or 3 things that you feel like you've been praying for years, like this has been a consistent, recurrent prayer point in your life, and you just make up your mind that 2026 is the last year I'm ever going to pray about this, I'm ever going to bother about this. Now this seems counterintuitive because we know that the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous is able to do much, yes, but I grew deeply in my faith last year, and of course through the year I'm going to be sharing some of those lessons that I've learned. And I feel like sometimes if you've been praying for something for so long, there is a high chance that is either the answer has come and you do not know, or you are simply out of God's will and you are not hearing his voice concerning that matter. This is something I'm beginning to realize. Yes, God loves it when we pray. We ought to pray, always. But I don't believe that God is a wicked God, that we keep you asking for the same things over and over again with no result. Sometimes the missing ingredient is faith. For instance, let me give you this personal example. Last year, I was doing my own personal fast, and for me, I'm someone who tend to have crazy cramps, like menstrual cramps, very, very crazy, very painful. So during one of those months, I think it was November or so, while I was fasting, I think I was either listening to a sermon or reading my Bible. I don't know, but I remember that, my period was fast approaching, and I was just a bit overwhelmed at the thought of it because I know how painful it gets. And it just occurred to me that I don't have to live like this. So I said, oh, I'm tired of these cramps. I didn't even say Jesus' name, like, it was just a thought, like, I don't have to deal with this. This is not normal for something that I'm going to live with for a long time, for months. This is something that will always occur every month, except of course when I'm pregnant. But I don't have to live like this. That's what I told myself, and I just blotted out that thing. And when you have faith, you would know. Like when it matter is settled in your head, you would absolutely know. So that's what happened to me. Like, I said it with such conviction that I just knew that this thing will not happen again. And I was fasting that time. In fact, it was later I remember to, back up that thing I uttered with prayers. I just made a short prayer and prayed that it is done. Well, guess what? My period came a few days later and I did not have cramps. And so far, I've not had cramps again. Can you imagine? So it is something like, I want you to push your faith this year. If you've been praying for something for long, I want you to move with the audacity of faith. There's something called the audacity of faith. I want you to move with it. It can even be a health issue. You've been praying about it. I'm saying that you will just start doing things that you could never do before. First, your brain will align. I'm telling you. See, I could give more examples about it. And like I said, throughout the course of the year, we'll be making faith moves. We'll be discussing more on faith and all of that. But this is something I want you to try. So pick up your pen and paper now. Write down 3 areas of your life that you've been praying about consistently. Make up your mind that this year is the last year that you are going to talk about it or disturb God over it again. You are going to move with faith concerning that area. All right. So, for the next episode, I'm going to give you an idea of how to plan for the year using themes. Yes, we are going to have a theme for the year. I guess we'll expand a little more on this. I recently discovered the idea of themes, and I just realized that, well, technically it's not a new discovery for me, but I was more intentional about having themes, and it works, guys. You should have a theme for the year. That I'll just tell you that you should have a theme for the year. You'll be surprised how it will be guiding your actions and decisions. Okay, so we're going to talk more on that next episode. That'll be next week. I promise I'll be uploading every week. This is my own goal for the year concerning my podcast. I want to be uploading consistently every week, and I'm going to put in that effort. I'm going to try and do it. All right, so thank you so much for sticking around from last year to this year. This year is going to be great for me, for you, for all of us. I just know it. I can just feel it. It's the year of doings. It's the year of doings. It's the year of results. It's the year of flight. We're going to take flight. We're going to mount up on wings like eagles. We're going to do so much, and we're going to do so much in the name of the Lord. All right. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode has blessed you. Till next time, stay refreshed.